would seem, Edward, that words like unmanifest, unknown, and we can include mystery perhaps, all point to the same space.
Nothing, yes, or nothingness, if you will. The NESS makes it a context, which would have it include the unknown, the unmanifest, what isn't, and mystery. So those would all congregate, if you will, in the domain of the unknown. Sounds like a good TV show, The Domain of the Unknown. Tonight we present mystery and what isn't.
I'm sensing, Edward, that there is a distinction that you're drawing on this ness. You mentioned it in the past, and like being and beingness, this distinction that you draw, would you like to speak more on that?
Well, it just means to say that if you add the ending NESS to a word, it makes it a context, and then it can have that which is content included in it. And context and content and domain can be interchanged, but if you add NESS to a word, as I said, it makes it a context.
So?
Well, in the case of what Judith put there, knowingness would be the context of all that is known. So inside of that context would be 1 and 1 is 2, and all of the things that she knows. But other than that, it doesn't have any meaning, other than it makes conversation a bit easier. If you do not crash your domains, then conversation can be pointed in one direction or another. But if there is a crashing of domains, then the conversation goes in all directions at the same time.
When I put that in there, Edward, I think of knowing as that which I have been taught, that which is called knowledge, belief, those kinds of things. And knowingness, there's a sense that if there is an insight that just sort of bursts through, there is a knowingness also with that. So I don't know if that word is being used differently here than you would use it or not.
Well, I'm using it different from how you would use that there. I would simply call what you just described an insight, aside from any knowingness or knowing. Insight would not even belong, I would say, in the same domain of activity as knowing or knowingness.
Well, knowingness, as I used it, seems to come in after the insight. The insight, when they've happened, have been completely without thought, and once spoken, are seen with some sort of knowingness, and then they just fall away or die or whatever you say. It's not what you say, it's what happens. They just fall off. There's a sense of truth, I guess. It's not a knowledge-based thing. It's a sense of truth, of seeing it as being truth.
Well, I have put together certain ways of breaking language down and of speaking language and speaking from for myself in order to remain clear both in what I say to others and in what others say with me, Judith. So I mean, I don't use that in that same way. I use the addition of NESS as being to make the word a context, and doesn't have anything to do with insight. However, that's strictly, obviously, up to you. Your knowingness wants your knowingness to know that. Wait a minute, I got to read this long letter here from Life is Beautiful. But you might want to look at that a bit, Judith, and see if that is something you need to stick to.
I remember when I